Good morning. Usually at this point, when we're having children's story, I'd shake all of your hands and talk to you. Well, we can't do that, first of all, because we're not supposed to be shaking hands for the next little while. And secondly, of course, you're watching me on the internet, so that's not going to work at all. So I thought maybe instead what we would do is we'd use some sign language to say peace be with you instead of shaking hands. And I'll just get you to put your hands together, and then we go like this, and it's peace. So put them together and then sort of swipe them as if you're kind of washing them. And then with two fists together, and then you just get to point. Okay? So it's peace be with you. Fabulous. Now, this morning what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you a story, and then after we're finished, there's some craft ideas and discussion questions and other things that are on the page that you're watching this on, and I'm going to invite you to do that. The story today is a story from John's Gospel, and he talks about Jesus and the disciples as they were walking, and they saw a man who was blind. And the disciples said to Jesus, "Why is this man blind?" And Jesus said to them, in effect, that's really the wrong question. It's not why this man's blind and who's responsible, but rather what we can do and what we should do to help him and what God can do in his life. So Jesus told the man to go and wash in a pool, and he put some mud on his eyes, and the man could see. And you can imagine how excited he was, and he told his neighbors, and his neighbors were really excited. And they said to him, "How did this happen?" And he said, "Jesus healed me." And they wanted to know where Jesus was, and they wanted to know all these details because they were kind of confused at what was happening. Well, I tell you, I'm not sure about you, but I found this last week really confusing because everything's turned all upside down, and everything I expected to do, I can't do, and things are canceled and closed, and things are different. And I think from the story, we can take the idea that the fact is that we might think, well, why is all this happening? But maybe what we should be doing is asking, well, what is it that we can do? What is it that we should be doing? Now, you're already doing some of that by staying away or not having church, because we're going to try to keep everybody well. But there are three things that I'm going to ask you to think about for this week, okay? The first is to be patient. Because the truth of the matter is that I know it's frustrating not being able to go to school and to go to all your events and all of the other things. And so you're going to have to be patient. You're going to have to be patient with the adults like me too, because we're trying to figure out how to do things and how everything's going to be. So just be patient. How do you be patient? Well, sometimes when you get really frustrated or really bored, just sing yourself one of the songs from Sunday school and then go back to see if you can find a solution. Okay? Or count to 10, whatever works for you. The second thing I'm going to ask you to do is to be kind. Okay? It's hard for everybody and everybody's stressed, but I want you to be kind to each other because that's one of the things we talk about in church all the time. So be kind to each other. If you can help out in any way, help out. And it's great if you can have a phone conversation with a relative or someone who's shut in, or even make them a card that could be mailed to them. All sorts of ways to be kind. And the third thing I'm going to suggest is that you remember in prayer all of us, the people who are working to keep us safe, and your parents, and all of us in the church family, because even though we're separated, we're still thinking about each other. Now, that's the story I want you to take with you as you go, and you've got some crafts, and there's all sorts of great things there. And next week, I hope to see you here again on the internet. But before we finish, why don't we finish in the way we always finish, with the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. Now I want you to go and have a good week, and try to be patient, try to be kind, and remember to pray for all of us. Take care.